What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to tell you all about the down payment assistance program called FHLB. In my opinion, it's one of the best programs out there, and I'm not just saying that. When I talk about down payment assistance programs, I rank them off three criteria: simplicity, flexibility, and assistance, right? When we talk about simplicity, how easy is it for someone to qualify for this program? Do they have to take a home ownership course? Do they have to use a specific lender? Do they have to go through home ownership counseling, right? And FHLB, it's one of the simplest programs out there. If you qualify for a loan and if you're working with a mortgage lender who is connected with FHLB, and I'll tell you what that means in a minute, you can qualify for the loan. When we talk about flexibility, it's can you use this with other programs? Can you program stack? Short answer, yes. And then last is assistance. How much assistance do they get? With FHLB, you get up to $20,000 for down payment and closing costs. Now, they break down there's three categories of buyers that can qualify for this program, and that's what I'm going to get into today. The first category is first-time home buyers. Now, if you're a first-time home buyer, you can get up to $17,500 through this program. Now, just so you know, FHLB categorizes a first-time home buyer as someone who has never owned or purchased property before, or someone who has not owned or had any ownership interest in real estate for the past 3 years. And so let's say you purchased a home 10 years ago and you sold it 5 years ago. According to FHLB, you're a first-time home buyer and you can qualify for this program. Now, the first step in qualifying for this program is getting pre-approved by a bank who's a member of the institution of FHLB. So FHLB stands for Federal Home Loan Bank. And think of it like a co-op or a conglomerate of other banks who are a part of this organization. And so those are the banks that get access to this grant money, right? Once a year, FHLB releases it to the member organizations. The member organizations then gives it to buyers who are pre-approved with them. And so if you're already pre-approved with Navy Fed or Bank of America or one of those other banks, I can tell you right now, they're not part of FHLB. And so you wouldn't be able to use the down payment assistance if you're getting a loan through one of those banks. So what I did, I actually put together a list of all the banks that are part of FHLB. So go to my website, dcmarylandlistings.com/FHLB. So when you're going through the pre-approval process, you know you're selecting the right lender who's going to give you access to this grant money while it's available. And if you need someone here in the DMV area, shoot me a text or email and I'll connect you with one of the lenders that I work with here locally. So you're a first-time home buyer, you're pre-approved. The next thing that you need to qualify for this money is to meet the income qualification. For this program, home buyers have to have a household income that's equal or less than 80% of the area median income. Now, the area median income is a stat that's provided by HUD and essentially says, if you live in this area, this is what the median person or not, maybe not person, but this is what the median household makes, because they break it down by household. If you're one person living in the home, 2, 3, right? And so if you're in a relationship or if you have kids, then that's going to increase the number of households and also increase the area median income threshold. And so in order to qualify for the program, you have to be at 80% or less. So the numbers are published online, so you can Google what your area median income is. If you live in the DMV area, I went ahead and put the information up here for you. So take a look and see if you qualify. And as you're looking through it, remember that household income is everyone who lives in the home. Significant other, parents, children, whoever. So if you got somebody who's sleeping on your couch and they're not working, tell them they can stay a little longer, because what that's going to do is take you from a one-person household to a two-person household without increasing your income. So maybe they can help you buy a house. Now, the great thing about this program is that the grant money, the $17,500, it doesn't have to be paid back as long as you occupy that home as your primary residence. It's what we call a forgivable grant. And so if you're in your home for 5 years, it's going to be forgiven 20% over the course of the 5 years. So every year it's going to be 20%. After 5 years, poof, grant money's gone. If you were to happen to sell, let's say you wanted to sell the home in year 4, more, then you would have to repay the last 20% of the grant money that they gave. Okay, so the next category is called Workforce Housing Plus. And this program is going to give up to $15,000 to home buyers to use towards down payment and closing costs. Now, there's a couple key differences between the two programs. The first one being, for the Workforce Plus, you don't have to be a first-time home buyer. You could be a first-time home buyer or a repeat buyer, and you can still qualify for the program. The property still must be purchased as your primary residence. And just so you know, that's the case for all down payment assistance programs. Anytime you think about down payment assistance programs, know that you have to occupy the property as your primary residence. Because if not, lenders are viewing that as an investment property. Anytime you purchase a property with no intentions to live in it yourself, meaning that you're either going to rent it out or do it on Airbnb, they're not going to give you money to do that, right? So anytime you think about down payment assistance programs, just know, hey, this is for me owning and occupying this property. The next difference is the income requirements. This program is for home buyers who make anywhere between 80% and 120% of the area median income. And so this is actually a recent change with FHLB. They didn't have a program for people who were sort of stuck in the middle, right? So the first-time homebuyer program is really for low to moderate income individuals and households. But if you make anywhere between 80 and 120%, at least in the DMV area, you're making good money. But before, where they didn't have a program for you, now they do. And so this is actually a huge benefit to those who always found themselves stuck in the middle, and maybe they made over $100,000 and found that they couldn't qualify for any of the first-time homebuyer programs. Now you do. And I just want to say just a quick caveat. If you find yourself on either end of the spectrum, if you say, hey, I'm on the lower end or I'm on the higher end, and you're not sure if you qualify, reach out to me, give me a call, shoot me a text, set a time on my calendar. I have the link in the description below, because I don't want you to rule yourself out thinking that you don't qualify. Let's make sure you don't qualify before we rule yourself out of potentially getting $15,000. The last difference between the Workforce Housing Plus program and the first-time homebuyer program is that there's no retention requirement, meaning that you don't have to live in the property for a certain amount of time before it's forgiven. It's forgiven immediately after you close on the loan. So this is as close as cash as you're gonna get. I mean, it's almost like the bank is writing you a check for $15,000. And so if you can qualify for this program, it's gonna be a huge benefit to you. Last but not least is a grant that's reserved for community partners. So if you're a teacher, a firefighter, a nurse, or first responder, if you're a police officer, either active or retired, if you are in the military or a veteran, you can qualify for this $20,000 grant. You don't have to be a first-time home buyer. You can be a repeat buyer and still get the $20,000. The qualifications are similar to the first program. You have to be at or under 80% AMI, and the grant is going to be fully forgivable after occupying the home for 5 years. So nowhere in this video do you guys hear me talk about credit score requirements. That's because there is none. As long as you qualify for the first trust mortgage with the lender, you can qualify for the grant. Now, most lenders need at least a 580 in order to qualify you for an FHA loan. So we can say the credit score limit is 580. There's also no debt to income restrictions. You only have to own and occupy the property as your primary residence, and you can't currently own any real estate in the United States. As long as you check both of those boxes, you're gonna be good to go. Before I forget, no matter which category you qualify for, all home buyers are gonna have to complete a home buyer education course. This is something that your lender is going to send you. It's done online. It's probably take you an hour or two, but that's going to be required for everybody. The other requirement is that you have to at least contribute $1,000 to the purchase. Now, let me tell you how to apply. The first thing that you want to do is get pre-approved by one of the banks that are offering this program. As I mentioned before, I have the full list on my website, so go to dcmarylandlistings.com/FHLB or shoot me a text or email and I'll send you a direct referral for someone here in the DMV. Next, you want to get under contract. You can only reserve the grant funds if you have a ratified contract. That means you submitted an offer, the seller received, accepted, and signed off on your offer. Then you can send that contract to the lender and they're going to reserve the the funds for you. It's as simple as that. As long as you qualify and the grant money is available, the lender is going to submit the application on your behalf. The money is first come, first serve. So hopefully you're watching this video early enough and you're either in the home buying process or getting ready to start the home buying process so you can get access to this money. As I mentioned before, this program is stackable. So if you're using DC Open Doors or HPAP or MMP, you can use this program with that. I've had clients that have come to the table with literally buying a $400,000 home with $2,000 out of pocket. And so it's possible, but you do have to be strategic. I would recommend come prepared to bring some money, but we're always going to make sure that we can put you in the right position to win. That's going to be either negotiating a seller credit in combination with using some of the state programs and using programs such as FHLB. So if you're thinking about buying a home, this grant can certainly help you get to the closing table. Don't wait, don't hesitate. If you're interested, give me a call or shoot me an email and let's set some time for us to connect. And then lastly, if you found this video helpful, as always, please like, subscribe, and share this video with a friend who's looking to purchase a home.